My name is Chad O'Connor. I'm 54, a construction worker from Detroit. For 8 years, I worked 3 jobs to put my son Felix through Harvard. Every overtime shift, every sacrifice. Worth it to see him succeed. Last week, Felix called me. First time in months. "Dad, I'm engaged. We're having a party Sunday at Harbor Club in Boston. You have to come meet Bella's family." I was so happy. My Harvard graduate son wanted me there for the biggest day of his life. I sold my truck to buy a suit, put $8,000, my life savings, in an envelope as their gift, drove 9 hours to Boston. Sunday, 6 p.m. sharp, knocked on Harbor Club's door. Felix opens it, sees me standing there in my new suit. His face goes white. "Oh, Dad." Long pause. "We had it yesterday. Yesterday, not today." That's when I knew my son was ashamed of me. But what happened next changed everything. You need to understand who Felix was before he became someone else. Felix Michael O'Connor. Born December 15th, 1997. 8 pounds 2 ounces. Perfect in every way. His mother Bella was a high school English teacher. Smart woman. Patient. She saw something special in Felix from day one. While I was teaching him to use tools, she was teaching him to use words. "Chad," she'd say, watching 5-year-old Felix read chapter books, "this boy's going places we can't even imagine." She was right. Felix sailed through school, honor roll every semester, academic awards, math competitions, science fairs. Teachers called him gifted. We lived in a small house on Detroit's east side. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. Nothing fancy, but it was ours. Bella's teacher salary plus my construction wages kept us comfortable. Not rich, but comfortable. Everything changed when Felix turned 16. Bella started getting tired, losing weight. We thought it was stress from work, but the doctor visits got more frequent, the tests more serious. Cancer, pancreatic, stage 4. "How long?" I asked the doctor. 3 months, maybe 6 if we're lucky. We weren't lucky. Bella died 11 weeks later. The day before she passed, she gripped my hand from her hospital bed. "Promise me something, Chad. Anything. Don't let Felix settle. He's smart enough for Harvard. Get him there. Bella, I can't afford. Find a way. Promise me." I promised. Bella died on a Tuesday. By Thursday, I was working my second job. By the following Monday, I'd added a third. Construction work, 5 a.m. to 2 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sometimes weekends when projects needed overtime. Uber driving, 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. every day except Sunday. Good tips downtown, better tips at the airport. Warehouse loading, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., 3 nights a week. Moving boxes until my back screamed. 18 hours a day, sometimes 20. But the math was simple. Harvard cost $80,000 per year. 4 years meant $320,000, plus room and board, plus books, plus everything else. I sold Bella's car, moved us to a studio apartment, cut every expense that wasn't food or Felix's education. Felix protested at first. "Dad, you don't have to do this. I can go to community college. Your mother didn't die so you could settle for less. But you're killing yourself. I'm building your future." And I was. Every shift, every sacrifice, every time I chose work over sleep, I was building something bigger than myself. Felix threw himself into his studies. Straight A's weren't enough. He needed perfect SAT scores, extracurricular activities, leadership positions, everything Harvard wanted. He got it all. The acceptance letter arrived on a snowy March morning. I was leaving for work when Felix burst out of our apartment waving the envelope. "Dad, I got into Harvard." I hugged him right there on the sidewalk, both of us crying, both of us knowing Bella would be proud. 4 years at Harvard flew by. Felix called every week his freshman year, every month his sophomore year, every few months after that. I didn't blame him. He was busy. Important classes, important friends, important opportunities. He graduated summa cum laude, got hired by Goldman Sachs immediately. Starting salary, $180,000, more than I made in 3 years combined. Felix moved to Boston, rented an apartment in Back Bay, started dating Bella Whitmore, daughter of some old Boston family with old Boston money. Our phone calls became shorter, less frequent, always about his work, never about visiting home. I was proud of him, but I missed him. Missed the boy who used to help me fix things around the house, who asked a million questions about everything, who hugged me goodnight every single day. That boy grew up, moved away, became successful, and somewhere along the way, forgot where he came from, until last Tuesday, when he called about the engagement party. For one moment, hearing the excitement in his voice, I thought maybe I had my son back. I was wrong. The call came at 8:30 Tuesday night. I was heating up leftover pizza, watching the Tigers lose another game. "Dad, it's Felix." His voice sounded different, happy, excited, like the old Felix. "Hey, son, how are you?" "I'm great, Dad. Really great. I have news." I muted the TV. Felix rarely called with news. "What's going on?" "I proposed to Bella." My heart jumped. My son was getting married. "Felix, that's incredible. Congratulations." "Thanks, Dad. I'm so happy. She said yes immediately. It was perfect." "Tell me about it. How did you propose?" "Beacon Hill. Sunset. I had the ring hidden in a picnic basket. Very romantic. Beacon Hill. I'd looked it up once. Rich neighborhood where Bella lived with her parents." She must have been surprised. Completely. She cried. I cried. It was amazing. The excitement in his voice took me back 20 years. This was my little boy, sharing good news with his dad. "When's the wedding?" "We haven't set a date yet." "But Dad, that's why I'm calling. We're having an engagement party this Sunday. I want you there." "An engagement party?" "Felix wanted me there." "Of course I'll be there. Where is it?" "Harbor Club in Boston, 6 o'clock. It's going to be small. Just immediate family and close friends." Harbor Club. I'd never heard of it, but it sounded fancy. "Should I bring anything?" "Just yourself, Dad. I can't wait for you to meet Bella's family. They're excited to meet you too." "Meet Bella's family." Felix wanted to introduce me to his future in-laws. "What should I wear?" "Just dress nice, nothing too formal. Maybe a sport coat?" "Sport coat. I didn't own a sport coat. I owned work shirts and jeans. I'll figure something out." "Great. Sunday at 6. I'll text you the address." "Felix?" "Yeah? I'm proud of you, son. Your mother would be so happy." Silence on the line. When Felix spoke again, his voice was softer. "I know, Dad. I think about her every day. She loved you so much." "I love you too, Dad. See you Sunday." The call ended. I sat in my empty apartment staring at the muted TV, feeling happier than I had in years. My son was getting married. He wanted me at his engagement party. He wanted me to meet his fiancée's family. After 3 years of short phone calls and missed holidays, Felix was including me in something important. I grabbed my laptop and Googled Harbor Club Boston. The website was elegant, all marble columns and harbor views. Founded in 1893, Boston's premier private club, membership by invitation only. Private club, invitation only. This wasn't a restaurant or hotel. This was where Boston's elite socialized. I scrolled through photos. Men in expensive suits, women in designer dresses. Everyone looked like they belonged in a magazine. I looked down at my work clothes. Stained jeans, flannel shirt, steel-toed boots. These weren't my people. This wasn't my world. But Felix wanted me there. That's what mattered. Wednesday morning, I called in sick to work. First time in 2 years, I had shopping to do. Men's Warehouse sat in a strip mall 20 minutes from my apartment. I'd driven past it countless times, but never stopped. The salesman looked me up and down when I walked in, calculated my budget in seconds. "What can I help you with?" "I need a suit for my son's engagement party." "Congratulations. What's your price range?" "Whatever it costs." He led me to the value collection, suits starting at $199. I tried on a gray suit, size 42 regular, looked at myself in the three-way mirror. I looked like a construction worker playing dress-up. "Looks great," the salesman said. "Very classic." "I need everything. Shirt, tie, shoes, belt." "Of course. Let me grab some options." An hour later, I walked out with a complete outfit. Total cost, $447, 2 weeks of Uber money, but worth it. My son was getting married. Thursday, I sold my truck. 2008, Ford F-150, 180,000 miles. Rust spots and dents from 8 years of construction work, but it ran perfectly. Posted it on Craigslist. Reliable work truck, $8,500. 3 people came to look. The second guy, a young contractor, offered $8,000. $7,500 is my final offer, he said after checking under the hood. I needed the money for Felix's gift, for the trip to Boston. Deal. He counted out $7,500 bills. I signed the title. Watching him drive away, I felt a pang of regret. That truck had been my independence, my ability to get to job sites, to work. But this was more important. This was Felix's engagement party. Friday night, I counted my money. $7,500 from the truck. $500 from my savings account. $8,000 total. I wrote a check for the full amount. Made it out to Felix O'Connor. In the memo line, I wrote, "For your happiness." My hands shook slightly. $8,000 was more money than I'd ever given anyone. More than I'd spent on anything except Felix's education. But he was my son, and he was getting married. And for the first time in 3 years, he wanted me there for something important. Saturday, I practiced conversations in the mirror. "Hi, I'm Chad, Felix's father. So nice to meet you. Felix has told me so much about you." Had Felix told them about me? What did he say? Did they know I was a construction worker? Did they know about the 3 jobs and the sacrifices? Did they know their future son-in-law wouldn't be where he was without his blue-collar father? Sunday morning arrived gray and cold. I showered, shaved carefully, put on my new suit, looked at myself in the mirror one more time. I still looked like a construction worker in a costume, but I was Felix's father. That had to count for something. The bus to Boston left at 9 a.m. 9 hours to Harbor Club, 9 hours to see my son introduce me to his new family, 9 hours to be proud. The Greyhound station smelled like diesel fuel and disappointment. I bought my ticket at the counter. $63 to Boston. Window seat. "You visiting family?" the clerk asked. "My son's engagement party." "That's nice. Congratulations." I found my seat in the back. The bus was half empty. A few college students heading back to school. Some business travelers who couldn't afford flights. People like me who were traveling on budgets. As we pulled out of Detroit, I thought about the last time I'd been on a long trip. Bella's funeral, 8 years ago. Her sister lived in Toledo, 3-hour drive to say goodbye. This trip was about hellos, new beginnings, Felix starting his life with someone he loved. I pulled out my phone and reread his text from Tuesday. "Dad, engagement party Sunday, 6 p.m., Harbor Club, 600 Atlantic Avenue, Boston. Can't wait for you to meet everyone. Love, Felix. Can't wait for you to meet everyone." My son was excited to introduce me to his fiancée's family, excited to show them where he came from. The bus rolled through Ohio, flat farmland, small towns, America's heartland. I thought about Felix as a little boy, always curious, always asking questions. "Dad, why do you get up so early?" "Because work starts early, buddy. Why can't you start work later?" "Because that's not how construction works. We work when there's daylight." "Will I work construction like you?" "Only if you want to, but you're smart enough to do anything." Bella was right. Felix was smart enough to do anything, and he had. Harvard, Goldman Sachs, success beyond anything I could have imagined. But success came with a price. The bigger his world became, the smaller mine seemed. Pennsylvania rolled by. Mountains now, beautiful country. I'd forgotten how pretty America was outside industrial Detroit. Around noon, my phone rang. Unknown number. "Hello?" "Mr. O'Connor, this is Bella Whitmore." Bella, Felix's fiancée, calling me. "Bella, how nice to hear from you." "I wanted to reach out before tonight. Felix is so excited you're coming." "I'm excited too. Can't wait to meet you." "I've heard so much about you. Felix talks about your work ethic constantly, how hard you worked to put him through Harvard. Felix talked about me, about my sacrifices. Felix's success is his own doing, with help from someone who loved him enough to work 3 jobs. She knew. Felix had told her about the 3 jobs. Any parent would do the same. "No, Mr. O'Connor, not every parent would. What you did was extraordinary." Extraordinary. No one had ever called my work extraordinary. "Thank you, Bella. That means a lot. I hope you'll tell me some stories about Felix growing up. I love hearing about his childhood. I have plenty of stories." "Wonderful. See you tonight. 6 o'clock sharp. I'll be there." "Mr. O'Connor?" "Yes. Thank you for raising such a good man." The call ended. I stared out the bus window, feeling better about tonight. Bella seemed lovely, polite, interested in Felix's background, interested in me. Maybe Felix's new world had room for his old one after all. West Virginia now. Mountains everywhere. The bus climbed winding roads through forests I'd never seen. I pulled out my wallet and looked at the check. $8,000, every penny I had. Was it too much? Too little? I had no idea what people gave for engagement gifts in Bella's world, but it was everything I could give. That had to count for something. My phone buzzed. Text from Felix. Dad, can't wait to see you tonight. Fair warning, Bella's parents are a little formal, but they're good people. A little formal. What did that mean? I texted back, looking forward to it. Also, the club has a jacket requirement. But don't worry, they have loaners if needed. Jacket requirement. My suit came with a jacket. I should be fine. Got it covered. Great. Love you, Dad. Love you too, son. Felix was nervous about tonight. About his formal in-laws meeting his blue-collar father. But he still wanted me there. Still loved me enough to include me. Maryland, Delaware. The bus made stops in small cities I'd never heard of. People got on and off. Everyone going somewhere important to them. I was going to the most important place I'd been in years, my son's engagement party. Around 4 p.m. we crossed into Massachusetts. Cities got denser, more expensive looking. This was New England. Old money. Established families. Bella's world. Boston's skyline appeared in the distance. Tall buildings, harbor views, beautiful city. Felix lived here now. This was his home. 5:15 p.m. South Station, Boston. I grabbed my overnight bag and walked into the city. Boston was bigger than Detroit, older, more sophisticated. People walked faster, dressed better, looked more important. I felt underdressed despite my new suit. Called an Uber. $26 to Harbor Club. The driver was friendly. Big meeting tonight? My son's engagement party? Congratulations, where's the party? Harbor Club. He whistled softly. Nice, high-end spot. You know it? I've dropped people off there. Very exclusive. Members only. Members only. I wasn't a member, but I was Felix's father. That was my membership. We pulled up to Harbor Club at 5:55 p.m. Red brick building, marble steps, American flags, valet parking with college kids in white jackets. This was where Boston's elite socialized, where million-dollar deals were made over expensive dinners. I paid the Uber driver and walked up those marble steps. At the top, I stopped and looked back at Boston Harbor. Beautiful view. Sailboats and money and privilege. Felix's world now. I checked my watch. 5:58 p.m. Perfect timing. Walked to the heavy wooden door. Took a deep breath. This was it. The moment I'd been working toward for 8 years. My son wanted me here. Wanted me to meet his new family. I knocked twice. Footsteps inside. Lock turning. The door opened. Felix stood there in an expensive suit, perfect haircut, looking successful and confident. He saw me standing there in my new gray suit, holding my overnight bag. His face went white. Oh, one word, 2 letters. But I heard everything in it. Surprise, panic, fear. Dad. Long pause. He looked over his shoulder, then back at me. We had it yesterday. Yesterday, not today. Yesterday. The party I'd driven 9 hours to attend. The party I'd sold my truck to afford. The party where Felix wanted to introduce me to everyone. Had happened yesterday. Yesterday? Yeah, we had to change it last minute. Venue conflict. I pulled out my phone. Read his text again. Sunday, 6 p.m. Harbor Club. Today was Sunday. It was 6 p.m. I was at Harbor Club. I didn't get any message about a change. Really, I thought I sent one to everyone. Everyone. But not me. That's when I understood. There was no venue conflict. No last-minute change. Felix had lied to me. We stood there in the doorway, father and son. 8 years of sacrifice between us. Can I come in? I asked. Felix glanced over his shoulder again. I heard voices inside. Laughter. Music. Current laughter. Current music. Actually, Dad, we're just cleaning up. The party ended a while ago. The party ended a while ago. But there were fresh sounds coming from inside. The sounds of a party happening now. I hear people talking. Just family. Helping clean up. Family. The family I wasn't part of anymore. Felix, what's really going on? He shifted uncomfortably. Looked everywhere except at my face. Nothing's going on, just bad timing. Bad timing? I sold my truck to be here. You sold your truck? To buy you an engagement gift, to afford this suit, to get here. Felix's face crumpled slightly. Dad, you didn't have to. Yes, I did, because you're my son. And you invited me. I know, but what? A woman appeared beside Felix, blonde, beautiful, wearing a cocktail dress that cost more than I made in a month. Felix? Who is it? Bella. This is my dad. Dad, this is Bella. Bella looked at me with genuine surprise, like she wasn't expecting me. Oh, Mr. O'Connor, we weren't... She stopped herself, looked at Felix. I thought you said we had a timing mix-up, Felix said quickly. Bella looked confused. But I thought the party was... Bella, could you give us a minute? Felix interrupted. She nodded and disappeared back inside. Felix stepped outside and closed the door behind him. Dad, I'm sorry. There was confusion about the timing. What kind of confusion? The Whitmores wanted to move it earlier. Family scheduling thing. When did this happen? This morning. I tried to call but couldn't reach you. I pulled out my phone. No missed calls. No voicemails. You didn't try to call. Maybe the service was bad. Felix, stop lying to me. I'm not... Yes, you are, and we both know it. Felix looked down at his expensive shoes. Why? I asked. Why what? Why didn't you want me here? That's not... Felix, I'm your father. I've known you since the day you were born. Why didn't you want me here? Long silence. Harbor sounds in the distance. City noise. Felix wrestling with the truth. Dad, it's complicated. Uncomplicated. Bella's family, they're different from us. Different how? They have expectations. About what? About everything. Social stuff. Business connections. Family background. Family background. Yeah, and mine isn't good enough. It's not that... Then what is it? Felix looked at the harbor. Anywhere but at me. They don't understand our world. Our world. Where we came from. Working class, Detroit. The struggles. Are you ashamed of where we came from? No. Are you ashamed of me? Longer pause. Dad, I'm not ashamed of you. But this is important to me. My career. My future with Bella. I can't afford to... To what? To not fit in. There it was. The truth. Felix was afraid I would embarrass him. Afraid his blue-collar father would damage his carefully constructed new life. I see. Dad, you don't understand. I understand perfectly. I reached into my jacket and pulled out the envelope. $8,000. This is for you, for your engagement. Felix stared at the envelope. Dad, how much is that? Everything I have. Everything. Every penny. Felix took the envelope with shaking hands. I can't accept this. It's not for you to accept or refuse. It's a gift from your father. But if this is everything you have, then I gave it gladly. Felix looked like he might cry. Dad, I'm sorry about tonight, about lying, about everything. I know you are. Can we figure this out? Figure what out? How to make this work. You and Bella's family. All of us together. I looked at my son, 26 years old, successful, scared. Felix, I don't need to make anything work. What do you mean? I raised you to be a good man, to stand up for what's right, to be proud of who you are. I am proud. Then act like it. I turned to leave. Dad, wait. For what? Don't go like this. How should I go? I don't know, but not angry. I'm not angry, son. You're not. I'm disappointed, but not angry. What's the difference? Angry means I expected better. Disappointed means I hoped for better. I walked down the marble steps toward the street. Dad. I stopped but didn't turn around. I love you. I love you too, Felix. That's why this hurts. I called another Uber and rode back to the bus station. The next bus to Detroit left at 9:30 p.m. 3 hours to think about what just happened. My son was ashamed of me. Of where we came from. Of the sacrifices that made his success possible. But maybe that was the price of success. Maybe moving up meant leaving things behind, including the people who got you there. The bus station coffee was terrible, but it was hot. I sat in a plastic chair, watching other travelers wait for their rides home. A young woman argued with someone on her phone. A businessman typed furiously on his laptop. An elderly man slept with his head against the window. Everyone running from something or toward something. I was running from the truth I'd just discovered. My son was ashamed of me, but I couldn't run far. Tomorrow was Monday. Back to construction work. Back to the real world. Felix's world was harbor club and expensive suits and people who'd never worked with their hands. My world was early mornings and physical labor and paychecks that barely covered rent. 2 different planets now. My phone buzzed. Text message. Mr. O'Connor, this is Bella. I'm so sorry about tonight. There was a terrible misunderstanding. Misunderstanding. Polite word for lie. I typed back, "Thank you." 3 dots appeared. She was typing again. "I hope you'll give us another chance. I'd love to meet you properly." Another chance. For what? To be embarrassed again? That's kind of you. I mean it. Felix talks about you constantly, how hard you worked for his education, how proud he is of you, proud of me. If Felix was proud, why did he lie about the party? Bella, can I ask you something? Of course. Did your family know I was invited tonight? Long pause. No typing dots. Finally, it's complicated. How complicated? My parents, they have certain expectations. About me? About Felix's background. They're still learning about his family. What are they learning? Another pause. That working class families can produce extraordinary children. Extraordinary children, not extraordinary families. The children could rise above their circumstances, but the families stayed behind. I see. Mr. O'Connor, I want you to know something. What? I fell in love with Felix partly because of how he talks about you. Your work ethic, your sacrifice, the way you put his education first. Then why the lie about tonight? Because Felix was scared. Of what? Of disappointing everyone. You, me, my family, everyone. So he chose to disappoint me. Yes, and he feels terrible about it. I believed her. Bella seemed genuine, caught between her family's expectations and her love for Felix. Bella, let me ask you something else. Anything. If you had to choose between Felix and your family's approval, what would you choose? Felix, without question. And if Felix had to choose between me and your family's approval? Long silence. I don't know, but I hope he'd choose both. What if both wasn't possible? Then I'd hope he'd choose what's right. Smart girl. Good answer. Thank you for being honest. Mr. O'Connor, yes, I want you in our lives. Felix needs you in his life. Felix is an adult. He makes his own choices. But family shouldn't be a choice. No, it shouldn't be. The conversation ended. I sat in the bus station thinking about what Bella had said. Family shouldn't be a choice. But for Felix, it had become one. His old family or his new one, his past or his future. And tonight, he'd chosen his future. My phone rang. Felix. Dad, please don't get on that bus. Why not? Because we need to talk. We did talk. No, we had a confrontation. I want to have a conversation. Where are you? Outside the bus station. I looked through the window. Felix stood by the entrance, still in his expensive suit. How did you know I was here? Bella told me. She said you two texted. And you left your engagement party to find me. Yes. Why? Because you're my father, and I screwed up. I walked outside. Felix looked exhausted, guilty, young. The party's over? No. I left. You left your own engagement party? I told everyone there was a family emergency. There is a family emergency. I know. We stood on the sidewalk, father and son, 8 years of distance between us. Felix, why did you lie to me? Because I'm a coward. That's not an answer. Yes, it is. I was scared of what Bella's family would think of you, of us, of where I came from. And what would they think? That I'm not good enough for their daughter. Because of me. Because of our background, working class, no money, no connections. Do you think you're not good enough? Sometimes. Because of me? Because I don't fit in their world. Felix, you graduated summa cum laude from Harvard. You work at Goldman Sachs. You're engaged to a beautiful woman from a good family. How do you not fit in? Because when they look at me, they see your son. The construction worker's kid who got lucky. Is that what you see when you look in the mirror? Sometimes. I reached into my pocket and pulled out the old fishing photo. Felix at 8 years old holding his first bass, both of us grinning. What do you see when you look at this? Felix stared at the photo. I see a happy kid. What else? I see us, before everything got complicated. Before you got successful, you mean? Yeah. Felix, success didn't complicate anything. Shame did. I'm not ashamed. You're ashamed enough to lie to your father about your engagement party. Felix looked down at his shoes. You're right. Why are you ashamed? Because your world and Bella's world don't mix. Says who? Says everyone. Her parents, my colleagues, society. Says you. Yeah, says me. I put the photo back in my pocket. Felix, let me tell you something about worlds. What? There's only one world, and we're all living in it together. That's not how it works. That's exactly how it works. Rich people and poor people. educated and working class. We're all just people trying to do our best. But there are differences. Of course there are differences, but differences don't have to mean shame. Felix was quiet for a moment. What do I do now? You decide who you want to be. I want to be both, your son and Bella's fiancé. Then be both. How? Stop hiding where you came from. Start celebrating it. What if Bella's family doesn't accept that? Then they don't accept you, and you'll have to choose. And if I choose them, then you choose them. And you, I'll always be your father, but I won't be your secret. Felix nodded slowly. I need to go back to the party. Yes, you do. Will you come with me? No. Why not? Because this is your choice to make, not mine. What if I make the wrong choice? Then you make the wrong choice, and you learn from it. I started walking toward the bus station. Dad! I turned around. I'm sorry I lied to you. I know you are. And I'm sorry I was ashamed. Work on that. And Dad? Yeah? Thank you for everything. For Harvard. For believing in me. For coming tonight even though I didn't deserve it. You're my son, Felix. You always deserve it. I got on the 9:30 bus back to Detroit. Through the window I watched Felix walk back toward Harbor Club, back to his party, his fiancée, his choice. I hoped he'd make the right one. Monday morning, 5 a.m. alarm, except I didn't have a truck anymore. Sold it to buy a suit for a party that never happened. Called my foreman, Danny Kowalski. Danny, it's Chad. I need a ride to the job site. Everything okay? You sound tired. Family stuff. I'll explain later. No problem. Pick you up in 20. Danny had been my foreman for 6 years. Good man. Understood that sometimes life got complicated. He pulled up in his pickup at 5:20. I climbed into the passenger seat with my tool bag. Rough weekend, he asked. Something like that. Want to talk about it? Maybe later. We drove to the job site in comfortable silence. Construction workers understood silence. Sometimes there was nothing to say. The job was a medical building downtown. Concrete foundation. Steady work for the next 3 months if the weather held. I spent the day mixing concrete and trying not to think about Harbor Club, about Felix's face when he saw me, about the $8,000 I'd given him, about the son who was ashamed of his father. Lunchtime, I sat alone on a stack of lumber, ate a peanut butter sandwich and checked my phone. No messages. I didn't expect any. Felix was probably back at work, pretending last night never happened, making deals with people who'd never met a construction worker, living his new life. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Same routine. Danny picked me up. We worked. He drove me home. I didn't talk about Felix. Danny didn't ask. Friday afternoon, my phone rang. Unknown number. Mr. O'Connor, this is Harold Whitmore. Harold Whitmore, Bella's father, the man whose approval Felix needed. Mr. Whitmore. I wonder if we might meet. There are some things we should discuss. About what? About Felix and your family's place in his future. Your family's place. Like it was up for negotiation. When did you have in mind? Tomorrow, if possible. I'm flying to Detroit on business. Perhaps we could have lunch. Harold Whitmore was coming to Detroit, to my city, to talk about my family's place in Felix's future. Where? Do you know the Detroit Athletic Club? Of course. Another private club. Another place where I didn't belong. I can find it. Excellent. 1 o'clock. I'll meet you in the lobby. Mr. Whitmore? Yes? Why are you coming here? Because, Mr. O'Connor, we have more to discuss than I initially realized. The call ended. I stared at my phone. Harold Whitmore, flying to Detroit to meet with me. This couldn't be good. Saturday, 12:45 p.m. Detroit Athletic Club. Another marble building. Another doorman. Another world where people wore suits during the day and never got their hands dirty. I walked into the lobby wearing my engagement party suit, still the only suit I owned. Harold Whitmore sat in a leather chair, reading the Wall Street Journal. He looked exactly like I'd imagined. Silver hair, expensive clothes, comfortable with wealth. Mr. O'Connor, Mr. Whitmore. We shook hands. His was soft, mine was calloused. Thank you for meeting me. Shall we have lunch? The dining room was all dark wood and oil paintings, white tablecloths, servers who moved like dancers. We ordered. Harold studied me across the table. You're probably wondering why I'm here. The thought occurred to me. Felix told us what happened Sunday night, What did he tell you? The truth about the party timing. About his concerns regarding your introduction to our family. His concerns. Yes, and frankly his cowardice. That surprised me. He called it cowardice. I called it cowardice. Felix called it protecting everyone involved. And what do you call it? A young man afraid of disappointing the people he loves. Harold sipped his wine. Expensive wine, probably. Mr. O'Connor, may I speak frankly? Please do. I've researched your background. Have you? Construction worker, widower, raised Felix alone from age 16, worked multiple jobs to pay for Harvard, sacrificed everything for your son's education. That's accurate. It's more than accurate, it's extraordinary. Same word Bella had used. Any father would do the same. No, Mr. O'Connor, most fathers wouldn't. Most fathers couldn't. Harold leaned forward. Do you know what my net worth is? I don't. $47 million, inherited most of it. My father inherited most of his. Going back 4 generations. Congratulations. It's not a congratulation, Mr. O'Connor, it's context. For what? For understanding that what you accomplished is infinitely more impressive than anything my family has ever done. I didn't know what to say to that. Mr. Whitmore, why are you telling me this? Because Felix is afraid you'll embarrass him. When the truth is, we should be embarrassed that we didn't earn what we have. Harold sat back in his chair. My daughter loves your son. She loves him partly because of the values you taught him. Work ethic, sacrifice, putting family first. Felix seems to have forgotten those values. Temporarily, yes. What makes you think it's temporary? Because after you left Sunday night, he came back to the party and told everyone the truth. What truth? About who his father is, about how you worked 3 jobs to put him through Harvard, about the truck you sold to be there. Felix told them. At his own engagement party, in front of Bella's family and friends. How did that go over? Better than he expected. People were impressed. With what? With his honesty, and with his father's dedication. Mr. Whitmore, what do you want from me? I want you to give Felix another chance. Another chance at what? At being the son you raised him to be. Harold pulled out his phone, showed me a photo. Felix and Bella at what looked like a restaurant. Felix was holding up the photo of us fishing, the one I'd shown him at the bus station. He's been carrying this everywhere since Sunday, showing it to everyone, telling them about his father who taught him to fish, and to work, and to sacrifice for the people you love. I stared at the photo. Felix looked proud, happy. He's proud of you, Mr. O'Connor, finally, fully, without reservation. And your family? We're learning about the difference between inherited worth and earned worth. Harold signaled for the check. Felix wants to see you. He's been trying to work up the courage to call. Why hasn't he? Because he thinks you'll hang up on him. I wouldn't hang up on my son. Then maybe you should call him. Maybe I should. We stood to leave. Harold extended his hand again. Mr. O'Connor, I want you to know something. What? If Bella marries Felix, I'll be proud to have you as family. Even though I'm a construction worker? Especially because you're a construction worker who raised a Harvard graduate. We walked to the lobby. Harold's driver waited outside. Mr. O'Connor? Yes? Felix is a good man. You should be proud. I am proud. I've always been proud. Then let him know that. Harold got in his car and drove away. I stood outside the Detroit Athletic Club thinking about what he'd said. Felix was carrying our fishing photo, showing it to everyone, finally proud of where he came from. Maybe there was hope after all. I pulled out my phone and scrolled to Felix's number. Hesitated for a moment, then pressed call. The phone rang 3 times. Dad? Felix's voice was uncertain, hopeful. Hey, son, I can't believe you called. Why wouldn't I call? Because I figured you hated me after Sunday. I don't hate you, Felix. I could never hate you. Silence on the line. I could hear Felix breathing. Dad, I'm so sorry. I know you are. No, you don't understand. I'm sorry for everything, for lying about the party, for being ashamed, for making you feel like you weren't good enough. Felix, for 8 years you sacrificed everything for me. Everything. And I repaid you by pretending you didn't exist. You didn't pretend I didn't exist. Yes, I did. At the party, when people asked about my family, I talked about Mom being a teacher. I never mentioned you. That hurt. But I understood why. You were trying to fit in. I was being a coward, just like Harold said. You talked to Harold? He called me after meeting with you, told me what he said about inherited worth versus earned worth. He's a smart man. He said I should be proud to be your son. You should be, just like I'm proud to be your father. Even after Sunday? Especially after Sunday. Why? Because you went back to that party and told the truth. How do you know about that? Harold told me. You met with Harold? Yesterday, in Detroit. He flew here to talk to me. He flew to Detroit? Said we had things to discuss about your family's place in your future. Felix was quiet for a moment. What did you tell him? I told him the truth, that I'm proud of you, that I want you to be happy, and that I won't be anyone's secret. Dad, I don't want you to be a secret. Then don't make me one. I won't, I promise. Felix, promises are easy, actions matter. You're right, so let me ask you something. What? Will you come to dinner next weekend? Bella and I want to cook for you. Just the three of us? Just the three of us. No harbor club, no formal anything. Just family. Family. The word I'd been waiting to hear. I'd like that. Really? Really. Dad. Yeah? I've been carrying that fishing photo everywhere. The one you showed me at the bus station. Harold mentioned that. I show it to everyone now. Tell them about my father who taught me to fish, and to work, and to sacrifice for the people I love. Those are good lessons. The best lessons. And I learned them from the best teacher. Your mother was the teacher. I was just the example. You were both. And I'm sorry it took me so long to remember that. Felix, can I tell you something? Anything. I was never ashamed of you. Not once. Not when you were struggling in school. Not when you had doubts about college. Not when you moved away and forgot to call. Dad, I was proud every single day, proud of your intelligence, your work ethic, your success, everything. I know. But I was most proud when you went back to that party and told the truth about your family. That was scary. Doing the right thing usually is. Bella's family was actually impressed. With what? With my honesty. And with having a father who worked so hard for his son's future. Good. Dad, there's something else. What? I want to pay you back. For what? Harvard. The jobs. The sacrifices. Everything. Felix, you don't owe me anything. I owe you everything. And I want to start somewhere. Where? I deposited $50,000 in your bank account this morning. You what? Enough to buy a new truck, get caught up on bills, have some cushion. Felix, I can't accept that. Why not? Because you earned that money. I earned it because you gave me the opportunity to earn it. That's what fathers do. And this is what sons do, when they finally understand what their fathers gave them. I sat down on my couch. $50,000. More money than I'd had at one time in years. Felix, that's too much. Dad, it's not enough. It'll never be enough. I don't need money from you. I know. You need respect, recognition, pride. I have those things. From me? From you, finally. Dad? Yeah? I love you, and I'm proud to be your son. I love you too, Felix, and I'm proud you're my son. See you next weekend? I'll be there. Should I pick you up, or do you want to drive? I'll drive, once I figure out what truck to buy. Felix laughed. First time I'd heard him laugh in years. Get something reliable, but not too fancy. Why not too fancy? Because you're still a construction worker. Just a construction worker whose son loves him enough to finally say so. After we hung up, I sat in my apartment for a long time. My son was coming back to me. Not the little boy who needed my help. The grown man who chose to include me in his life. That was better than anything I could have hoped for. That was worth 8 years of sacrifice. That was worth everything. The next week passed differently than any week in recent memory. I still got up at 5 a.m., still went to work, still mixed concrete and carried tools. But everything felt lighter. Felix called Tuesday night, just to talk. No agenda, no hurried conversation. How was work, Dad? Good. We're making progress on the medical building. What kind of medical building? Cancer treatment center. That's important work. All work's important if you do it right. Mom used to say that. Your mother was smart about work, about most things. I wish she could see us now. She can, and she's proud. Of both of us, especially of you. Why especially me? Because I never forgot who I was. You had to remember. Wednesday, Bella called. Mr. O'Connor, I wanted to confirm dinner plans for Saturday. Looking forward to it. Felix is very excited. He's been planning the menu all week. He can cook. He's learning. He wants to make your favorite meal. I don't have a favorite meal. What did you eat most when he was growing up? Peanut butter sandwiches, ramen noodles, whatever was cheap. Bella laughed. Maybe we'll upgrade slightly. Whatever he makes will be perfect. Mr. O'Connor, yes? Thank you. For what? For raising him to be the man I fell in love with. He did most of the work himself, with your example to follow. Bella, can I ask you something? Of course. Are you happy? With Felix? With this choice? Completely happy. Even with the complications? The family stuff? My parents are coming around. My father's been telling everyone about Felix's father who worked 3 jobs to put him through Harvard. Your father's been telling people about me? He's impressed.
Says it's the best investment story he's ever heard. Investment story. I like that. And your mother? She wants to meet you. Properly this time. I'd like that. She's planning a dinner party next month. Nothing formal. Just family. Family. There was that word again. I'll be there. Thursday, I bought a truck. Used the money Felix gave me. 2018 Ford F-150. Low mileage. Reliable. Nothing fancy, like Felix suggested. Drove it to work Friday morning. Danny whistled when he saw it. Nice truck, Chad. Business must be good. Family business. Family business. My son. He's doing well. The Harvard kid. Yeah, the Harvard kid. You always talked about him like you were proud. I was. I am. Must be nice having a successful son. It is. But success isn't the reason I'm proud. No? What is? He remembered where he came from. Saturday arrived gray and cool. Perfect October weather. I drove to Felix's apartment in Back Bay, brownstone building. Expensive neighborhood, but not intimidating anymore. This was where my son lived. That made it family territory. Felix answered the door in jeans and a Harvard t-shirt. Looked like a college kid again. Dad, you made it! Of course I made it. He hugged me. Long hug. Real hug. Come in. Bella's in the kitchen pretending she knows how to cook. The apartment was nice, tasteful, adult. But there were pictures of us on the mantel. Fishing photo, high school graduation, Harvard acceptance day, our history, on display. Bella emerged from the kitchen wearing an apron. Mr. O'Connor, welcome. Please call me Chad. Chad, I'm so glad you're here. Smells good in here. Felix has been cooking all afternoon. He made meatloaf. Meatloaf? He said it was your favorite. I looked at Felix. I never said meatloaf was my favorite. I know, but it's the first thing you taught me to cook, remember? When Mom was in the hospital. I remembered. Felix was 16, scared, trying to help. You burned it. Completely, but you ate it anyway. Of course I did. You made it. Well, I've improved since then. We sat at Felix's dining table. Good food, good wine, good conversation. Felix told Bella stories about growing up in Detroit, about learning to work with tools, about summer jobs at construction sites. Bella told stories about growing up in Boston, about private schools and family traditions, about expectations and pressure. Different worlds. But sitting at that table, they didn't seem so different. We were just family, sharing stories, learning about each other. Dad, Felix said during dessert, I want you to know something. What? I'm proud to be your son, publicly, completely, without reservation. I know you are, and I want everyone to know it. Felix, you don't have to prove anything to me. I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm trying to celebrate something. What? Having the best father a son could ask for. Bella raised her wine glass. To family, she said. To family, Felix echoed. To family, I agreed. We drank. And for the first time in 3 years, I felt like I had my son back. Not the little boy who needed me, the grown man who chose me. 3 months later, Felix called with news. Dad, Bella and I set a wedding date. When? June 15th, and I have a question. What? Will you walk her down the aisle? That surprised me. Shouldn't her father do that? Harold's going to officiate. He got ordained online, and Bella wants you to walk her down the aisle. Why? Because you're the reason she has someone to marry. Bella wanted me to walk her down the aisle. Me, the construction worker who almost wasn't invited to the engagement party. I'd be honored. There's something else. What? I want to start a foundation, educational scholarships for working-class kids.
That's a great idea. I want to name it after Mom. The Bella O'Connor Foundation. She'd love that. And I want you to help run it. Felix, I don't know anything about running foundations. You know everything about sacrifice for education, about working multiple jobs to give your kids opportunities. That's just parenting. That's exactly what these kids need to learn about. That education is worth any sacrifice. The Bella O'Connor Foundation launched 6 months later. We gave our first scholarship to Maria Santos, daughter of my bank officer. She wanted to study engineering. Like your son? Maria asked when we met. Like my son, but her own version. The foundation grew. We helped dozens of kids, working-class families, single parents, kids who understood sacrifice because they lived it. Felix quit Goldman Sachs to run the foundation full-time. Are you sure? I asked. You're giving up a lot of money. I'm gaining something better. What? Purpose and time with my father. We work together every day.
Felix handled the business side. I talked to families, helped them understand the process, showed them it was possible. Mr. O'Connor, one mother said, how do you know this will work? Because I lived it. My son went from Detroit construction sites to Harvard. If he can do it, anyone can. That became our motto. If he can do it, anyone can. The wedding was perfect. Small ceremony at a church in Boston. Bella looked beautiful. Felix looked happy. I walked Bella down the aisle, proud to be giving my son the woman he loved. Harold officiated with dignity and humor. Marriage, he said, is about bringing families together, about learning that love has many forms, financial support, emotional support, sacrifice, dedication, all equally valuable. He looked at me when he said sacrifice. During the reception, Felix gave a speech. My father taught me that success isn't about what you achieve, it's about who you become while achieving it. For years I forgot that lesson.
I thought success meant leaving my past behind. I was wrong. Success means carrying your past forward, with pride, with gratitude, with love. To my father, Chad O'Connor, the smartest man I know, even though he never went to college. The crowd stood and applauded. Bella's family, Felix's colleagues, our friends, all of them celebrating a construction worker who raised a Harvard graduate. Later, cutting cake, Bella pulled me aside. Thank you, Chad. For what? For raising a man who knows the difference between price and value. What's the difference? Price is what you pay. Value is what you get. And what did you get? A husband who understands that the best things in life are earned, not inherited. Harold joined us, holding a champagne glass. Chad, I want you to know something. What's that? You're the richest man at this wedding. I don't have any money, Harold. You have something better.
You have a son who loves you enough to become the man you raised him to be. That's worth more than money. That's worth everything. 6 months after the wedding, Bella called with more news. Chad, we're pregnant. A grandchild. Bella O'Connor's grandchild. Boy or girl? Too early to tell. But we have a name picked out. What? If it's a girl, Bella, after Felix's mother. And if it's a boy? Chad, after his grandfather. Chad O'Connor III, named after a construction worker who never forgot where he came from. That night, I sat in my apartment, the same studio I'd lived in for years, and thought about legacy. Some people leave money, some leave buildings, some leave businesses. I was leaving something better. I was leaving a son who understood that success without integrity is just expensive failure. A son who remembered that the best investment is the one you make in someone else's future. A son who finally understood that some bridges you build by remembering where you started and being proud of the journey. If this story touched you, remember, the greatest inheritance isn't money. It's teaching someone to earn their own success while never forgetting who helped them get there. What bridges are you building for the next generation? Share your story below.